Have you ever had the unsettling sensation that the God presented to you in church, school, or society is not the true creator, but rather a jailer? Imagine for a second that the depression, anxiety, and emptiness you feel are not flaws in your brain, but symptoms of a soul that has noticed the prison bars. Carl Jung discovered something terrible and liberating. The ancient heretics, burned by history, were right. They knew that there is an other God sleeping inside you, and that waking him up is the only way to escape the psychological matrix we call life. What I am about to tell you was forbidden for almost 2,000 years, and you are about to understand why. This is not a video for those seeking comfort. It is for those seeking the exit. If you feel, deep down, that reality is much stranger than we were told, you are in the right place. I invite you to join the minority who dare to look into the abyss. Subscribe to the channel now, like this video if you value deep knowledge, and comment the word awakening below. By doing this, you send a signal to your own unconscious that the search for truth has begun. Let us descend. In December 1945, in a scorching desert in Egypt, a peasant found a sealed clay jar. Inside, there was no gold, but something far more valuable and dangerous, the Nag Hammadi texts. These were lost scriptures, gospels that the church tried to erase from the face of the earth. When Carl Jung laid eyes on these translations, he didn't just see ancient religion, he saw the map of the human psyche. Jung realized that these Gnostics were not just mystics, they were history's first psychoanalysts. They described, in mythological language, exactly what Jung found in the deepest dreams of his patients, the terrifying journey to find the true self. The great Gnostic heresy, which so fascinated Jung, was the rejection of blind faith in favor of direct knowledge or gnosis. The church said, believe and obey. The Gnostics said, experience and know. Jung applied this to psychology. It is useless to believe you are a good person, or follow moral rules if you do not know the beasts that inhabit your basement. Direct knowledge is visceral. It is the difference between reading about fire and putting your hand in the flames. Jung understood that the cure does not come from belief, but from the direct confrontation with psychic reality, without filters, without dogmas, without protection. Here we enter the most shocking concept. The Gnostics believed that the material world was not created by the supreme God, but by a lesser, ignorant, and arrogant God called the demiurge. Jung interpreted the demiurge psychologically as the ego. The ego is the little king of our consciousness who believes he controls everything, who creates laws, social rules, and keeps us tethered to materiality and status. We live trapped in the reality created by our own internal demiurge, an illusion of control that separates us from wholeness. Feeling that this world is strange or false is the first sign that your soul is bigger than your ego. Against the tyranny of the ego, there exists the divine spark. For Jung, this is the self. It is a particle of absolute consciousness that inhabits the unconscious. It is who you really are, but have forgotten. The Gnostics said that this spark is alien. It does not belong to this corrupt world. Psychologically, this explains why so many sensitive people feel they are not from here. Jung taught that one's entire life is a painful process of allowing this spark to take command, dethroning the ego. This is what he called individuation. To the shock of Orthodox Christians, Jung, aligned with the Gnostics, viewed Christ not merely as a historical man, but as a symbol of the realized self. The crucifixion represents the necessary suffering of the ego, being nailed to the cross of opposites, matter and spirit, so that higher consciousness can resurrect. The way of Christ is not to imitate Jesus, but to have the courage to live your own destiny, carry your own psychological cross, and die to the illusions of the collective world. As the Gospel of Thomas, Jung's favorite Gnostic text, says, the kingdom of God is within you and all around you, yet you do not see it. This phrase summarizes analytical psychology. Do not look for salvation in the future, nor in politicians, nor in external saviors. Everything you need to be whole is already encoded in your psychic DNA. The problem is that we are too busy looking outside. Jung warned, who looks outside, dreams, who looks inside, awakes. Perhaps the darkest and most powerful point lies in Abraxas. In the 7 Sermons to the Dead, a private text by Jung, he speaks of Abraxas, a Gnostic deity who is superior to the Christian God and the devil, because he contains both. Abraxas is the force of pure life, creation and destruction, love and death. Jung realized that our psyche does not want to be just good, it wants to be complete. To deny your shadow, your capacity for malice, your anger, is to deny life itself. True psychological sanctity is integrating your inner demon and placing it at the service of the light. Consider the myth of Sophia, the wisdom that fell from the fullness and got lost in matter. This is the story of our depression and anxiety. Sophia is us. It is the part of our psyche that desperately seeks to return to the origin, but is trapped in toxic relationships, addictions, and materialism. Jung saw in his patient's neuroses the scream of Sophia. The cure is not to be happy, but to rescue this fallen wisdom, pull it out of the mud of the unconscious, and bring it back to consciousness. But why do the church and society fear this knowledge so much? Because direct contact with the self is overwhelming. Jung warned that without structure, this experience can lead to madness or ego inflation, thinking you are God. It is a path for the few. It demands total responsibility. There is no one to blame. If you know that you are the creator of your psychic reality, you can no longer play the victim. It is a terrible power that most prefer to avoid, choosing the safety of ignorance. The end of the Gnostic and Jungian journey is the same, the return to the pleroma, the wholeness. It is not perfection, it is completeness. It is when you accept your scars, your fears, your light, and your shadow as parts of a single work of art. You stop being a broken fragment and become a universe conscious of itself. This is the final promise. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember who you always were before the world told you who you should be.